Good evening, everyone, and welcome to News. I think the studio may have traveled back in time. No, not to the prehistoric era, but to the early 1800s, where the question on everyone's mind is how can we prevent uprisings and ensure the stability of our new nation? I'm Langton Smith, and here with me to answer that is my guest host.
I'm Thomas Bain.
Hello, Thomas. What are your thoughts on the question?
The state of war has obviously caused turmoil throughout the new nation. The reason of being the taxes implemented on our citizens, which is part of the very reason we left England. Despite these flaws, we are able to calmly express our issues and ideas, which is one of the steps in the journey to keep our nation stable.
For another look on this subject, we have brought in Alexander Hamilton.
Lovely to be here, Langton. Now, on to business. Contrary to what Mr. Payne believes, I think the key to maintaining a stable government is to focus on having a sound financial system and a list of rules before getting involved with the disagreements or wants of the public.
Well, you both seem to have strong opinions on how to keep a government stable. But how should we prevent an uprising rooted from a belief not represented in the federal government?
I believe that in order to prevent these kinds of uprisings, we should have a militia which is easily accessible by the government in order to keep the citizens in check.
I disagree, Mr. Hamilton. I believe that the way to prevent uprisings is to listen to the people and give them equal representation in the government. As Mr. Jefferson said, all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator in certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Liberty is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority. Using the militia against the people is completely against the Declaration of Independence, which automatically goes against aforementioned rights.
But in order to keep composure and sustain the power of our country, we must have a centralized government in which the federal officials oversee the welfare of the populace.
That's easy for you to say, seeing as how you are the one in power making these decisions.
Just because there's a population of citizens larger than that of federal officials doesn't mean they're able to handle the responsibility of governing themselves. That's the reason why we have the officials, so we can make the best decisions for those who aren't able to.
Seeing as how the people are clearly not happy, does it not make sense to consider the suggestion of the general public? In a country founded on the principle of representation, it does not seem to value or make any efforts to uphold the ideal now. Besides, for somebody who advocates that those in power are making the best decisions for the people and being of those in power, it seems odd that you would take such a big part in slave trade.
Sorry, everybody. It seems we've had some technical difficulties. We here at the studio do not condone violence, but as you can see from earlier, these guys obviously have a different idea. Yeah, you can hear them insulting each other and yelling. For now, let's go to our reporter, James Madison. James, would you please take over for us?
I forgot that we're not cussing. I'm sorry.
And you forgot the dad bit, too.
Yeah, I forgot to...
You did the dad bit too early. Okay,
forget.
let's not cut. We're just gonna...
Okay,
waiting.
Lainey,
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, everyone. It seems like we've been experiencing some technical difficulties. We here at the studio do not condone violence, but as you can tell, these guys, you can hear them arguing, and insulting each other. They think otherwise. So, for now, let's go to our reporter, James Madison. James, please take over for us.
Well, I'm a good writer.
You're not a good writer, and your father left you because you suck at writing. Hello, I'm James Madison. Today we're on the streets interviewing citizens on how they think a government should maintain stability and how we should keep the peace.
Boom.
Hello, sir. I'm James Madison with the Boston Gazette magazine.
Good evening, James.
What's your stance on how a government should remain stable?
Well, I believe that government stability is reliant on trust in the process. A nation based on trust is a strong nation.
Thank you for your input, sir. Hello, ma'am. I'm James Madison with the Boston Gazette.
Hello, I'm Wilhelmina. How can I help?
I'd like to know what a woman thinks about the stability of our new nation and how we can prevent wars from happening.
Well, think a stable government is built on good leaders. You know, if the people in charge don't know what to do, the citizens won't either.
Thank you. Hi, I'm James Madison. We're here with our last guest today. Hello, sir. What's your name?
My name's Mason.
Nice to meet you, Mason. So what do you think the key is to a stable government?
I think the key to a stable government is to make sure nobody leaves.
Why?
Because if people start leaving, there won't be much more government to do.
You know, he's not wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you, sir.
Well, James, those are some interesting interviews you had.
Yes, they were, and you had a fun debate.
One could say that. Anyhow, what do you think about this whole thing?
I think a lot of people brought up a plethora of different opinions, but I agree with Thomas Paine's the most.
I concur. The people need to have input on what the government is doing.
Absolutely. What do you think, cameraman? Cameraman?
James? What's a camera?
That's all the time we have today, America. Tune in next week for a discussion on Earth's real shape. Be safe and good night, folks.